Nicki Minaj was once untouchable, the queen of rap, the voice of a generation, the blueprint. But now? She's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. A reported $500,000 lawsuit has allegedly grown into a $20 million legal battle. And at the center of it all is her husband, Kenneth Petty. What began as an incident backstage in 2019 has reportedly come back years later with serious consequences. Now reports claim that the court is looking into Nicki's property, not because she can't pay, but because she allegedly hasn't paid. Fans are wondering, is she standing her ground or standing by someone who's pulling her down? Because while Nicki continues to support her husband, the legal system appears to be moving forward regardless. And when Cardi B once hinted that Kenneth Petty might become Nicki's biggest obstacle, maybe she wasn't just being shady. Maybe she saw it coming. This isn't just about one case. It's about loyalty, consequences, and how fast a superstar's empire can shake when love and legacy collide. It all started backstage at a Nicki Minaj concert in Germany back in 2019. The vibe was electric. Fans were screaming, cameras were flashing, and security was tight. But one moment would change everything. A fan reportedly managed to breach the barrier and get too close to Nicki during her set, causing chaos to break out. When Nicki confronted the female security guard responsible, tensions allegedly escalated. But it didn't stop there. Later, backstage in her dressing room, the situation allegedly got worse. Nicki allegedly called the male security guard Thomas into the room. He likely thought it would be a professional debrief, but instead it turned into something far more intense. Standing beside Nicki was her husband, Kenneth Petty. And what happened next became the foundation of a legal battle that's still making headlines today. According to court documents and Thomas's statements, after a heated exchange, Kenneth allegedly struck him, causing serious facial injuries that required surgery. Thomas claimed the incident left lasting damage, and he later took the matter to court. Reports say a judge awarded him $500,000 in damages after Kenneth and Nicki allegedly failed to respond to the lawsuit properly. Many assumed that would be the end of it, but it was only the beginning, because to this day, reports claim Nicki has yet to settle the payment in full, keeping the case alive and fueling even more controversy.
Nicki Minaj had options. She could have settled. She could have paid the reported $500,000 and moved on. Instead, she did nothing. According to court documents, Nicki and Kenneth allegedly didn't respond to the judgment the way they were supposed to. No payment, no appeal, no action, just silence. And in the legal world, silence can make things worse. That's when everything reportedly escalated. Fast. The injured security guard, Thomas, wasn't about to let the judgment go unpaid. So he took the next step, requesting that the court authorize the sale of Nicki Minaj's reported $20 million Los Angeles mansion to recover the money. That's right, not a car, not jewelry, not tour earnings. Her home. And here's the shocking part. Thomas didn't have to go through endless legal hoops to do it. Under California law, if someone wins a judgment and the debt isn't paid, they can pursue real estate with sufficient equity. And Nicki's mansion reportedly had more than enough. Suddenly, a lawsuit that could have been settled quietly became headline news. Fans were stunned, not just by the court filings, but by Nicki's apparent refusal to respond. Why let a $500,000 judgment turn into a multi-million-dollar risk? Why stay silent? Unless something deeper was happening behind the scenes. That's when fans started connecting the dots, and one name kept coming up. When news broke that Nicki Minaj's reported $20 million mansion could be seized, the internet went into a frenzy. People weren't shocked that she had the money. They were shocked that she didn't simply use it. Because let's be clear, this wasn't about being unable to afford it. Nicki's net worth is estimated to be in the tens of millions, and paying $500,000 wouldn't even make a dent in her empire. But instead of settling the issue, Nicki allegedly stood her ground, and now the court is reportedly treating her luxury estate like an unpaid balance, ready to collect by any means necessary. What makes it even more surprising is the timeline. The court gave her time. Time to pay, time to settle, time to avoid public fallout. But according to reports, nothing happened. And now the process is moving forward. Officials aren't taking this lightly. Sources claim her Los Angeles property has enough equity to cover the judgment, meaning it's legally on the table. One lawsuit, one alleged altercation, and now a home she's lived in for years might be used to resolve her husband's reported mistake. To fans, this isn't just about money, it's about the message. Nicki's silence is starting to look like pride, or maybe like loyalty to someone who's hurting her image more than helping it. And while everyone's watching the court, others are watching Nicki, wondering what she'll do next and whether she'll choose love, legacy, or self-preservation.
Cardi B said it first, and now it looks like she might have been right all along. Long before court documents, lawsuits, or mansion headlines, Cardi publicly warned that Kenneth Petty could be Nicki Minaj's downfall. At the time, people assumed she was just throwing shade, but now it's starting to sound more like a warning that aged too well. During their feud years ago, Cardi didn't hold back. She allegedly called Kenneth baggage, dead weight, and a liability hiding behind fame. And while Nicki clapped back in interviews and tweets, fans are realizing that everything Cardi warned about seems to be unfolding in real time. Because this isn't just about one lawsuit. It's about a pattern. Every time Nicki makes headlines lately, it's not about her music. It's about ongoing drama connected to her husband. Legal battles, past issues, and reported restrictions have all become part of the conversation surrounding her brand. And now, with her mansion reportedly at risk, Cardi's old words hit different. She never said the industry would turn on Nicki or that rivals would take her down. She said the danger was right beside her. And right now, that warning feels closer than ever, as the storm she predicted seems to be knocking at the front door of a $20 million home. For years, the Barbz stood 10 toes down for Nicki Minaj, loyal through every controversy, every headline, every feud. But now, even her most dedicated fans are beginning to question things. As news of the lawsuit spread and court documents surfaced, social media erupted with opinions, and not all of them were in Nicki's favor. Some fans are confused, others are disappointed, but a growing number are frustrated. Tweets began to flood timelines. Nicki really risking her mansion for that man? She's not broke, she's just stubborn. Her loyalty is gonna be her downfall. And just like that, the conversation shifted. It wasn't about whether Nicki was right or wrong. It was about whether she was enabling the very chaos surrounding herself. Because while Kenneth Petty has faced public controversy before, fans say Nicki made her choice. She married him, supported him, and continues to stand by him even as it cost her public goodwill. Bloggers, podcasts, and viral TikToks quickly jumped on the story. Some labeled it embarrassing, others called it self-sabotage. The harshest voices claimed Nicki wasn't a victim, she was the architect of her own downfall. Even longtime Barbz began posting cryptic messages, going quiet, or quietly distancing themselves online. Because when your favorite artist risks a multi-million-dollar mansion over someone with a complicated legal past, it gets harder to defend. And the timing couldn't have been worse, because just as the drama reached its peak, Nicki made a move no one saw coming. Right when the lawsuit buzz was hitting its peak, Nicki Minaj tried to shift the narrative fast. She jumped on Twitter and made a bold announcement. Her new album was dropping on March 26. The Barbz went wild. Social media lit up. But just days later, she canceled everything, posting, "No more album, no more music. Hope you're happy now. Bye, Barbz. Love you for life." The tweet hit like a shockwave. Fans were stunned. Was this emotional, strategic, or something else entirely? Because the timing felt way too convenient. Just days earlier, Cardi B had released her own highly anticipated project, Am I the Drama? And suddenly, people began to think Nicki's move might have been a calculated distraction, teasing an album to grab attention, then pulling it back when it didn't work. But things didn't stop there. Instead of letting the moment fade, Nicki went on a tweet storm. She hinted at betrayal, conspiracies, and behind-the-scenes politics without naming names, but leaving plenty of clues. One post had fans spiraling. "Let me find out you gonna let Desiree take the fall alone? I don't blame you. That woman gonna talk anyway. Might as well beat her to it. conspiracy, false imprisonment, civil rights violation, run. Fans immediately connected the name Desiree to Desiree Perez from Roc Nation. Then Nicki mentioned the Queen being begged for help, the Barb phone being called, and made what many interpreted as subtle shots towards Jay-Z himself. Suddenly, it felt like Nicki wasn't just venting. She might have been hinting at something deeper happening behind the scenes. Was it emotional frustration? Or an attempt to distract the world from the legal fire closing in around her? Either way, it backfired, because instead of quieting the conversation, her tweets only made the theories louder. And now fans weren't just questioning her judgment, they were questioning what she might be hiding. At first, nobody believed it. Nicki Minaj struggling financially? No way. She's got platinum records, global tours, brand deals, and a fan base that moves like an army. But as the court drama intensified and the reported $500,000 judgment allegedly remains unpaid, fans started asking the one question Nicki never expected. Does she actually have the money, or is she hiding something? It didn't make sense. Why risk a $20 million mansion over an amount she could easily afford? Why let it escalate to the point of potential asset seizure? That's when theories began to spread. Some claim Nicki might be protecting her assets by delaying payment, keeping her finances separate, or playing a long legal strategy. Others believe she was taking a stand, refusing to let someone profit off suing her. But then came the darker theory that maybe, just maybe, Nicki wasn't as financially secure as people thought. Fans started pulling receipts, pointing to previous lawsuits, canceled shows, and chaotic release rollouts. Even her recent online behavior, the rants, the deleted posts, the sudden cancellations, didn't look like someone in control. It looked like someone under immense pressure. Even some Barbz, her most loyal supporters, began to worry, because this didn't feel like an isolated incident. It felt like a pattern. And the more Nicki tried to shift the focus, the more people began to wonder what she was trying to cover up. Maybe she's still rich on paper, but in reality, the cracks are beginning to show. And if the financial rumors are true, what's coming next could shake her legacy harder than any feud or diss track ever could.
For years, Nicki Minaj was untouchable. She ruled the charts, influenced culture, and built an empire that seemed impossible to shake. But now, that empire feels like it's starting to crumble. What began with one alleged incident backstage has spiraled into legal trouble, public controversy, and the looming risk of losing her reported $20 million home. And at every turn, one name keeps resurfacing: Kenneth Petty. Fans aren't just questioning Nicki's finances anymore, they're questioning her judgment. Why stand beside someone with a controversial past and ongoing legal challenges that clash with everything her brand once represented? This isn't just a lawsuit, it's the symbol of a larger decline. Album delays, label disputes, unpredictable social media behavior, and fan fatigue are all starting to paint a concerning picture. And now, with the court reportedly moving forward, the pressure is higher than ever. Nicki's entire career was built on control. Control of her image, her music, and her narrative. But lately, it seems like she's losing grip on all three. Even some of her most loyal fans are stepping back, saying they barely recognize the woman they once defended. Not because her talent changed, because her choices did. The real question now isn't whether Nicki Minaj can recover. It's whether she's willing to let go of the chaos surrounding her to make that comeback possible. Because if she stays on this path, surrounded by lawsuits, controversy, and the wrong influences, she might not just lose her mansion. She might lose the legacy she spent decades building. Nicki Minaj didn't fall off overnight. She wasn't canceled, she wasn't pushed out. She simply kept protecting someone who never seemed to protect her back. The lawsuit, the unpaid judgment, and the mansion reportedly at risk aren't just headlines. They're warning signs, red flags that fans say have been there for years. And now the consequences aren't just personal. They're financial, legal, and painfully public. Because this isn't really about $500,000. It's about what happens when pride outweighs peace and loyalty overshadows logic. Nicki built an empire from the ground up.
She fought her way through an industry that wasn't built for her and did it louder, bolder, and longer than most. But now, that same strength that once made her unstoppable might be what's keeping her stuck. And if she doesn't make a change soon, even her legacy could be at risk. Because when your downfall isn't caused by your rivals, your critics, or your enemies, but the person closest to you, that's not just heartbreaking. That's the kind of story the world never stops talking about.